This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Sunset Trail travel trailer, model number 272BH. Alright, so I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work. So we come back here to the door side rear, and you see you have power stabilizer. One switch controls both rear jacks, and then of course one switch up front controls both front. Now this particular stabilizer, let me look at it back here. Yeah, this type you can crank manually if you have to. So you can see there's a shaft there with a pin through it. So you can actually crank that manually to get yourself out of trouble. Let me walk up here for a second. Okay, so this particular crank right here is the crank that you would use on it. See, it's got a cylinder with a slot cut in it. Well, that'll fit right over that shaft with a pin through it. You can actually crank it manually. Now, we got another crank here. It's smaller, but this one is used on the power tongue jack. In case it should fail, you could always get hitched and unhitched. So you would pull this, if it failed, you would pull this plug here, put the crank on there, and you can crank it manually also. So those are both good features to have. Okay, so moving back to where we were. You've got an entry door that enters right into the bathroom. This is a sprayer port. I don't know if you notice in your front compartment. We're still cleaning your trailer, by the way, so it's a little dirty on the outside, but it'll be clean by the time you get here. There's a coiled sprayer in the front compartment that will fit right in there. I'm sure there's another spot on the other side to plug it into also. You've got power awning with LED strip. You've got outside speakers, refrigerator. This is a griddle, an outside griddle. Now, let me reach in here so I can find it. Yeah. So you see you have this is the LP line here, and then you have a quick connect male on it. That will plug in down here into this quick connect right here. That's the female side of it. So before you can use the griddle, obviously you have to plug it in to the LP system. Okay. Now that's your furnace vent. You have, if you want to put a TV outside, you have signal here and then power here, so you could put a TV outside if you want. Your stabilizer, or excuse me, your stairs fold into the trailer, and you can adjust the length of the legs on it by pulling this pin here. There's one on each side. You can adjust the legs to match the terrain you're on if you need to. There's your front stabilizer switch for both front. That's the coiled sprayer I was telling you about. Okay. Power tongue jack, 2 LP tanks full. We have 2 deep cycle marine batteries on this one. I believe you ordered it with 2. So they're wired together at 12 volts. So you're just doubling your storage capacity, but it still outputs 12 volts. And of course, this is the kill switch for your battery if you ever want to do that. Or shut it off, I should say, not do that. If you ever want to shut it off, disconnect it. And then this plug right here, that's just in case if you wanted to buy like a portable solar panel to charge your batteries, you could plug it in right there. That one's made by Go Power. So that's all that is. Now we've got I guess he wanted me to show you this here, so this comes off obviously, right? In here you have this clear line right here, if you can see it. Let me back up a bit so you can see it. But the end of that clear line will go into the gallon of antifreeze, and then you'll turn on the pump and you can actually pump the pump the antifreeze into the system to winterize it. You do that here. There's also, just so you know, that if you can see this valve here, that one right there, you have to select this hose with the valve. So whichever, this handle here, if you can see it, if whichever hose it's parallel with is the one it's going to draw from. So right now it'll draw from the fresh water tank because it's going to the fresh water tank hose. But if you wanted to draw antifreeze in, you just switch the positions parallel with this clear hose, and it'll bring the antifreeze in. Of course, that's your pump right there. Okay. All right, so this is your city water hookup, the most common way to get water to the trailer. You just hook it up and you're all set. Now, if you're camping someplace that's more rustic, boondocking, whatever, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here, and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. All right. This is a black tank flush here. So after you dump your black tank, you can actually hook the hose at the dump station onto there, and turn it on. It'll spray out the inside of your black tank, clean off the sensors, that sort of thing. Now, you can see your valves here, black and gray. You always want to make sure the valve is open before you turn on that. Before you turn on the water with the black tank flush. It could build too much pressure and cause a mess. So there's a sticker next to it also that says always make sure your valve is in the open position before you turn on the water. So keep that in mind. But these are your dump valves here, of course. Your slide room is called a AccuSlide. You can tell by the cables. There are different types of slides. This one is called an AccuSlide, just so you know. We've added a slide topper on for you. Okay. Also, let's just tell this here. It's prepped for an inverter and a solar panel, so the wiring's already on the roof and in the walls. So if you wanted to add that on, it's a very quick type of thing. You don't have to run wires or anything like that. Now, this quick drain is just this. Where is it at here? So let me get down here so I can get a good picture of it. It should be white. There it is, right there. It's a white gate valve. Where am I at here? I'm still not seeing it. There it is right there. You can barely see it, but that gate valve empties your fresh water tank. So if you're driving home and you don't want to carry all that water with you, you can just pull that gate valve and it'll dump all the fresh water. Okay. Let's go down a little farther. You got a 30 amp, 30-foot power cord. You also get a reducer with it to reduce it down to a 20, so you can plug it in at home. This, which you haven't opened, but this right here is your, it has your campground cable and satellite hookups, that sort of thing. They're just coaxes. This is your water heater. Now, right now it's empty. Let me move these low points. Right now it's empty. You can see that's where you drain it from right there. This takes an 1" socket to unscrew the cap. It works on both gas and electric. The switches are inside the trailer. I'll show you that when we get in there. Just the main thing to remember is you can't never run the water heater unless you have water in the water heater tank. The tank is directly behind here, and this one looks like a 6-gallon, I think. But either way, you have to always make sure that you refill it before you turn it on. So in the springtime, when you're getting ready to camp, you're gonna purge all the antifreeze and fill it with fresh water. Then you'll go to the back of the water heater. There are 2 bypass valves, right? You'll take it out of the bypass mode, put it into the camping mode, put your plug in there, and then let it fill with water before you turn it on. Otherwise, you can damage it if you try to run it without water in it. Okay, also this housing tells us this is pre-wired for a backup camera. It's a Furrion camera, so if you want to add that, it's very simple. When it's installed, when you turn on your running lights, it'll activate the camera. So you can use it for backing up or keep it on going down the road, whatever you want to do. Also, while we're looking up, keep in mind the manufacturer states every 60 days you should inspect your roof. So somebody should go up there, look around, look at the sealant, and make sure there's no cracking or separation where water can get in. Look at the roofing material and the roofing components. Make sure they weren't damaged by low branches or road debris flying up there, that sort of thing. You're just staying ahead of things and protecting your investment, okay? All right, so let's go inside. Okay. Keys, of course. This is your control panel right here. You have your power awning here. I can extend it a little bit for you, like that. Very simple. Never leave it out unattended. Always roll it in if you're not going to be at the campsite. This is for your slide room here. Then you have lights here, of course. Awning light there. Your water pump is right here. Remember I told you your water pump is for pumping water out of the fresh water tank. It's also used to winterize the trailer. To light your water heater on gas is here. To light it on electric or turn on the electric, it's here. Never run these without water in that water heater tank. And these are tank heaters. You have heating pads on all of your holding tanks. So you turn that on and it extends your camping season by heating them up. Okay, so your battery's charged, fresh water, empty, black. Disregard the number 2 black tank and just use the number 1 because this panel fits different applications. And then of course gray. It graduates up in 1/3 increments as it goes, so once you get past 2/3 you got to start thinking about dumping your gray and black tanks. Okay? Alright. Thermostat. Very simple. You just hit the mode bar at the bottom, it lights it up. Then you'll just keep poking it till it, as you scroll through everything. Fan, and then cool, which is air conditioning, and then heat, which is your LP furnace, and then off. If it gives you the option for fan speed, if it gives you the option of auto, always use auto. That's the best way to go. Alright. Your microwave works like any other microwave. This is a range hood here with a fan and a light. Let me look out here for a second. Okay. Your range has a glass top on it. It's like that. Always keep it closed when you're traveling, otherwise it can get broke if you leave it up when you're traveling. I'm not sure that... Hey Kevin, is the gas turned on? Well, we'll find out soon enough. So you have a sparker here. You turn it clockwise to spark it. Then you've got 3 knobs, 1 for each burner, and then you've got your oven knob here. So, yeah, so it's that simple. Okay. Now when it comes to, you also have light, right, ambient light anyway. Now, when it comes to the oven, the pilot light is on the bottom all the way to the back. I can spark it so you can see it, hopefully. Yeah, so you can see it sparking back there. So what you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot, and then you depress it. You keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure. Then with your other hand, you're going to spark this, turning it clockwise, until you see the pilot light down here light. Once it lights, you still hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to operating temperature, and it cycles as an oven does, but when you shut it off, the flame goes out obviously, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven, okay? This is your power converter right here. So what this does, it converts AC to DC power. So this is kind of your distribution center here, like you'd have in your basement. These are 110 AC circuit breakers here, and they're all labeled, right? Then the AC power is converted to 12 volt DC on this side. You got 12 volt fuses here, and they're labeled. Keep in mind that these 240s are the masters. So if you have like a super power surge or a lightning strike or something and the 12 volt side goes out, always look here first, because that's where the problem is almost always going to be, because those protect the whole side. So that means they worked. Like I said, these are labeled. Also, if these were to blow, they'll actually light up and you can see it through this tinted plastic here. And last but not least, this is a battery tender. So it's going to sense how much energy your batteries up front have and need, and as long as you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much they need and always keep them charged. If they're topped off, It'll just trickle a couple amps to maintain it. If they're low, it'll send up 10 amps up there or whatever you need. So it's also a battery tender. Of course, when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator will be charging the batteries. When you're plugged in, this will here. So, okay. Alrighty. Well, we're looking at the table here. You can drop this table down onto these cleats here and use the back cushions to fill in the space and turn that into a bed. Here, let's see what kind of a bed here. Yeah, this is a hide-a-bed here. And so you take the back cushions off, then you're going to grab it down here and you're going to fold it out. It's got 3 panels and they're foam, so it's actually a pretty nice bed as hide-a-beds go. Okay. Here you have your bunks. Okay. And you do have some little bit of storage under here also. Now your TV is it's more than just a TV. First of all, this is your remote here. But this TV is also an FM radio. It has Bluetooth, so you can stream from your phone or tablet, whatever. It has HDMI, both front and rear. You can charge USB off of it. And it has 2 speaker zones. Zone 1 is inside the trailer. Zone 2 is outside the trailer. So it's kind of like your whole sound or media center in one, I guess you would say. So this is your packet with all the literature in it. Also, this is mounted on a swing out bracket here. So keep in mind you got storage back here. When you're traveling, always make sure it clicks. Oops, the magnet clicks on the back and it kind of locks it into place there. Okay, your refrigerator, I turned it on. Your refrigerator is a 12-volt DC refrigerator. It's very simple. You see we have on and off here, then your temperature up and down, and then it has some power saving modes too. But it's very simple, and it runs on 12-volt DC. So it will run off your batteries. Okay, for a period of time. Also over here, we went past this place but I forgot it. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green. If it's not green, get it serviced, right? So let's say it goes off, so you'll take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front and figure out what's going on. If it beeps the same tone but very slowly, it's telling you your battery is low. So I'll let it run through the test here. LP is good. Carbon monoxide coming up. That's good. Now the next one is the low battery alarm. Okay, back to green. It should always be green, like I said. If not, get it serviced. Okay. And you have a smoke detector up here too. So you have your shower, works like any other shower. Your sink works like any other sink. The toilet is, we just winterized it, so it's got some antifreeze here, but we're going to clean that up for you. The black tank is directly below, right down there, right? So, basically you can't use it dry. By dry there you talk about the black tank, which is below. So when you pull into your campsite, you hook up your power and your water, then you'll come in here, you'll put 1 dose of chemical in the bowl. And you'll step on the flush pedal and hold it down. And while you're doing that, water will come swirling out and wash the chemical and the water will go down into the black tank below. You stand on it long enough to put at least a gallon of water in it. Right? Some people use more, but you have to have at least a gallon, and then you're all set till the next time you dump it. So you just keep in mind you can't use it dry, because if you do, the smell will be terrible and it can get clogged up. So always have chemical and water in it. Okay, let's see what else we have here. You have your emergency window right here. You just push this all the way through, grab a hold of this tab and pull the screen out and exit that way if you need to. Usual lighting and USB chargers and things like that. This is your where you would hook up your TV, and it's got a backing plate here, so you could put a a swing out bracket on there so you can see it from laying in bed. You got your hookups and your power up there. And I'm sure this comes up too. Let me see here. Find a place to grab it here. Hold on. Yeah. And you have like a foot locker type situation here, just storage underneath. Okay. Alrighty. So I think that covers it pretty much. So I'm going to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof. You want to do that as manufacturer's recommendation every 60 days. Right now this is winterized, so all the water's been purged from the system and replaced with antifreeze. And the water heater is bypassed right now and empty. So keep that in mind, okay? Thank you very much.